We're back here for another, hopefully, unsuccessful build. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna try to put together the parts because today we're just gonna look for parts to build. Yes, you've guessed it, the brand new Coca Cola plane. Now you guys have seen the two, because there was a beta version of the Coca Cola boat that films in VR, and then you've seen that boat on the lake maybe a couple of times. If you live in Irvine, California, Woodbridge, then you might have seen that amazing Coca Cola boat with VR cameras on it circling around. Anyway, if you haven't, then that's okay too, because it hasn't been out there too long. Sometimes when it's too windy, I can't put it on the lake, so there you have it. But now we're planning to build a plane that is also Coca-Cola, and you may see that flying around in Irvine, California, Woodbridge. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, for now, what we're gonna do is start up all the other lives, because that's where most people see what's going on. So let's see what's going down in Funky Town today. All right, guys, so now we're live, and now we can explain all of that again. So we're going to have a little check through the box and see what kind of parts we can find to build none other than a Coca-Cola plane. Coca-Cola plane. So for those of you who do actually follow the channel, I have built a Coca-Cola boat. There's been two versions of that, the beta version that wasn't so good, and then the good version, which also capsized in the middle of the lake, but then we recovered it because boats float, right? So anyway, recovered, and it's back in action with VR cameras and all that stuff. But today, we're gonna look through a little box here and see if we can find parts of other planes that were pretty good and that we can use in order to build our new Coca-Cola plane. I can't guarantee that it will fly, but we're going to figure out different things that we can use. And I was thinking of using parts from the worst plane ever created for the price, at least these days. The Hobby Zone, or Horizon Hobby Aero Scout Mini is the worst possible plane for the price these days. In the past, it was fine, but then all the other companies made better planes for under $100. So this has now become the worst plane for that range. So anyway, it does have a few awesome parts. So I still have like the wing of the plane, and I still have the rear wing of the plane with control surfaces. So there could be ways of recycling this garbage and turning it into a, as I said before, a Coca-Cola plane that hopefully flies. So we'll see if that's even possible. But we have a whole bunch of parts here in the bag, and we're going to see which ones are going to float our boats. Because, you know, if it can't fly, at least it'll float, right? That's usually how it works with aviation, right? If you can't make something that flies, you can always make it float on a lake. So look at all these parts. Look at all these parts. So one of the things that I want is to have decent landing gear, because if you don't have decent landing gear and you build something, usually what happens is it'll fly, it'll land, but it won't land, it will crash. So when it crashes, it gets destroyed. So what we want is, even at its very basic level, we want something that is going to fly and land. Even if it takes off this much off the ground, it then needs to be able to land, because I don't want to have to like rebuild it a gazillion times. I want it to be structurally sound, at least in the landing department. So we know, because we've tested out lots of planes, that the Hobby Zone or Horizon Hobby tires, right, landing gear is fantastic. Can't say the same about a lot of the other stuff, but the landing gear is rock solid. So that's why I've been promoting a lot of the other companies that make Great Plains to adopt the Horizon Hobby or Hobby Zone landing gear, because if they did, then you'd have less chances of crashing your plane and having to buy a brand new one every single time it lands, or doesn't, right? Anyway, so yeah, so we've got this nice wing here, and I plan to use this nice wing here because it's good. And hopefully, as I said before, we plan to use this rear wing too because it has a good control surfaces, so we can get left, right, up, and down using this. But now we have to find some decent landing gear to go with it. And as I said before, the original landing gear that came with the bird was great. But it may not be strong enough to support the motors that I want to be using, which is going to be this from Freewing. Freewing? I think it's Freewing. Anyway, I'll double check that. You can never trust anything that I say. But it does say Freewing on here, so maybe you can trust what is said on there. Let me see if the people on YouTube that aren't following can see that. I don't know. Can you guys who aren't following on YouTube say something in the comments? No, you won't. You won't. But anyway, so we have all these cool extra parts from other birds. This was another really cool bird here, and it broke, but I broke it, so it was not the plane's fault. So we've got a bunch of other bits and pieces in here that might work. So we said that this landing gear is probably better for something of this kind here, this kind of motor here. And this, again, as I said before, is a Freewing 2627 with 4500 kV motor on it. So it's good. It's good. Let's just put it that way. It's good. Looks like maybe one of the live streams may have some issues because of the battery on the phone, which oftentimes will happen. So this part here is still good. Look at this, brand new. I'm just looking through all the different parts, and I know that I had more. I know that I had more parts in here that may be viable for this experiment. Ah, more landing gear. There we go. I was talking about landing gear. I have two of these awesome landing gear systems, and the reason why I have two is because, well, one is from the crashed plane from the Aero Scout Mini that crashed over and over again until I destroyed it. So it's a little bit bent, but it's still good. And this one is from the new one. And on the new one, I didn't actually have it. I just hand launched it. So this is brand new and not totally bent. But I lost that one on a solar paneled roof and never got it back. So that's still somewhere in Irvine, California, Woodbridge. Somebody must have it, because I don't. But anyway, did a whole series on that, and it was cool because one of the other planes that I had, which was a J11 from XK, I was able to get in touch with some awesome people there at the security at one of the schools, and they were able to retrieve that plane for me. So that's awesome. That's what a good community is all about, when you can retrieve your plane and it ends up on a school roof. But the other one ended up on solar panels, and then there was probably a storm after that, so it fell off, most likely, the solar panels, and somebody must have just snatched it up, which is okay so long as eventually they find the YouTube channel and they say, thank you for the plane. There, I said it. All right, so then, so as I said before, the Freewing is going to be the motor. We're going to attach it to a decent battery. I don't know what battery that's going to be yet, but it has an awesome ESC, because again, it came with the plane, and it was an awesome Warbird from Freewing. And so, yeah, that's all cool there. This is going to be the reliable engine that powers the Coca Cola boat. Now, we haven't figured out exactly how that's going to work, whether I just make a hole in the Coca Cola bottle and just stick the fan coming out of it. That could be an idea, and probably one that might work. But then we have to figure out all the other steps, which will be landing gear, how that's going to go underneath, whether we're going to use the other hubby zone bits, whether we need 4 tires, 2 tires. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. And then, of course, we also have the old motors from this XK, but I don't think we will be using those because, come on, if you have a free wing, right? If you have a free wing, this is a far better motor to use than this. And this has the added benefit of it being protected by this cover, so the fan is not going to cut off your fingers. So there's that, right? Safety first. Safety first, children. Again, don't attempt anything that I'm doing, children. But this is obviously going to be safer than this, which is exposed. So, yeah, there we go. We're going to go with the safety option. This was the original motor that came with that Aero Scout Mini of Doom. So for those of you who know this plane, this is the motor that came with it. It was, yeah, not my favorite. Let's just put it that way. It was not my favorite. It was a motor, but it wasn't my favorite. This, on the other hand, the free wing, this is a cool motor. It provides way more power and more reliability than the other ones. So there is that. So far we've got possibly what's going to be the main part of the plane, right? Coca Cola. Then we have the motor. Then we have the ESC where I'm not sure if we're going to be using this one. It might be this one, or we could use this one. I like both of these remotes. Whoa, unless I break them. I like both of these remotes. What I like the most about this one is the form factor. It is smaller, and I really like the gimbals on this one. Just very straightforward in many ways. This one sometimes is more compatible with a lot of other things. So, and it's also an older model and stuff, so it's been around longer. But it just fell. Look, it just fell and it opened up here. Don't worry, I can fix that. But I don't know. This one is a little bit stronger than this one. But anyway, I haven't figured out which one I'm going to use for the project yet. And I probably should unscrew it and not just try to just put it back in place. Wow, that's the first time that's happened. Okay, so I'm going to show the YouTube crowd that aren't showing. Okay, since nobody is on the YouTube, I'm going to show them because the video will be on YouTube later, so people can still see that if they want. If they wish, on the Marco Reviews channel, you guys can still see this later on. Anyway, you guys can definitely see that. Look at that crack. Look at that crack. I just literally, this is almost as lame as the DJI lamest crash in history. That's also on the Marco Reviews channel, where my DJI drone fell from about this height and one of the motors bent. Is that flimsy? I don't know. Again, as I said, guys, I don't have answers for you guys. I have questions. You guys can tell me what you think in the comments. Whether a drone that falls from about this height and gently taps into a wall should have a broken prop and a bent motor. You guys can tell me. In the comments, please put it in the comments that I'll never get to see. But anyway, if you do have time and you want to put a comment on there, please do. I really enjoy reading them. A lot of YouTubers and other social media people don't like seeing comments. I actually like reading them. I read them and I respond to them. So if anybody does want to leave a comment, please do. It's rare. But it does happen on this channel. Anyway, so as I said before, we have a tail. That's pretty cool. I haven't figured out if we want to put some servos on this or not to have this moving, or we will use the original lines. There's these things here, and when you push on those, they turn the things over there, as you can see there, and then up and down. That's all done just by doing this. So we can either go with that, or I can install a proper servo on these things, like the more expensive drones and planes have. And then we can move this with a proper servo. So that's going to be a possible option. And don't forget that planes that come at less than half the price of the Hobby Zone, right, Aero Scout Mini, have said kind of servos, right? Yeah, anyway. Not that one. Not that one. That one has a horrible system, which is super flimsy. But anyway, again, as I said, it's the worst plane for the price in 2022. If you go back 10 years ago, maybe it was still pretty good. But this plane is in much need of a complete overhaul. I just don't know why they don't do it, because they have amazing engineers over there that make amazing other birds, like the full-fledged. There's a bigger version of this plane. This one's about $100. They have a big one, the Aero Scout. That one's cool. I approve of that one. But anyway, so they have the engineers to fix that. They just don't want to fix this old plane for some reason. I don't know why. It's horrible. I bought 2 of them. I thought maybe one was just, I got the broken one, but then I bought a second one, and that one was useless too. So it must be useless, right? Maybe I should buy a third one and waste another $100. I don't think so. But if you think I should, then just put it in the comments, So yeah, anyway, so the live stream has gone pretty well. We do have some progress. We know that we have a decent back wing. We don't know whether we're going to use it in its original form, as I said before, with these thingies here, or we'll put proper decent servos in there. And then we talked about we're going to use this awesome free wing fan to power it, and this awesome ESC, and possibly one of these 2 remotes, as I've talked about, to be the ones that give us the piloting power on this Coca Cola boat, Coca Cola plane. Man, the gaffing is just unreal on this channel. So it's a plane, it's not a boat. The boat has already been made. That ship has sailed, as one says, and it will be back on the lake soon too, because I just need to wait for that wind to subside a little bit. But anyway, so this was the update, guys. Thank you so much for showing up and being part of this little adventure. And so in the next live stream, what we're going to do is start taking some of these parts that you guys have seen and putting them together, because I'll have a nice plan on how to do that. And we'll figure out exactly how to put the landing gear. It could be this landing gear. It could be this landing gear. All of that is Hobby Zone landing gear, or Horizon Hobby landing gear, and that I approve of. So there we go. So just as I always say, just because I rant about one product which isn't necessarily good doesn't mean I hate on the entirety of the company. Some things are good and some things are bad. But I do wish that, at some point Hobby Zone and Aero Scout and Horizon Hobby build a new and better version of the Aero Scout and send it to me, so then I can say wonderful, amazing things about it, because that's what's going to make me happy in my life. So if at some point they decide to do that and send me one, I will climb mountains and shout it off the rooftops about how amazing that plane is. I just can't say good things about this one. So there we have it. There we have it, guys. So thank you guys again for showing up. It's been about 20 minutes of amazing live stream for you guys. But again, you guys are the ones that make it worth it. I just show up and, talk random stuff. But you guys are here supporting. So that's what makes my life happy. So anyway, can't say enough about that. So thank you guys for being here, and I will see you all soon in the next one. Have an awesome Friday. And again, oh yeah, it's Happy Friday. Happy Friday, guys. See you soon. All right, did I press all the wrong buttons again? I think I did. I can't even reach this button. They don't want me to stop the live. That's what it is. Okay, so on this platform, I can't seem to reach the button. There we go. All right. Okay. This is my favorite part of the show. It is where I get to thank all the amazing people that actually did show up, right? Because I can't thank anybody on YouTube because nobody does ever show up. We have a track record of 0, or maybe there's one. Maybe there's one on occasion, but that's rare that anybody shows up on the YouTube. But on here, we have 101 awesome viewers. We have 227 awesome viewers over there and 244 on that one. So yeah, if you are a nobody, and you want to be seen, you better get on Likey, TikTok, Big O Live, pretty much any other app really, except for YouTube. Yeah, so there we have it. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I love you. I know that a lot of you are actually watching. It's just that YouTube doesn't show the stats. So anyway, joke's on me. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all soon in the next one. Take care.